Hello, welcome to another Pendulum Friday here at Soulprint. Thank you so very, very much for joining us. And let's sort of just get to it. There's been a lot going on. Before I get to it, wait a minute. So Louisiana just made it a rule, like a law, that every single school in Louisiana, I guess like public school, has to display the 10 commandments, the Protestant 10 commandments. I mean, they're not even going kind of generic there. And the thing has to be the size of a poster with a certain font. So, you can't put something really little in the corner. So the ACLU has announced they're suing them. The concern is, if this thing goes up to the Supreme Court, the current Supreme Court, it's kind of questionable whether they would actually say you can't do that. So I guess we shall see, right? Apparently this thing starts in September, which kind of makes sense. I mean, most schools have another week to go? So there's that. Here we go. We're starting with one that I screwed up last week. So the question was, is Jack Smith feeling defeated by canon? And the pendulum said no. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, nobody knows. Some people are saying the pendulum said yes, and I said no. Some people are saying the pendulum said no, and I said yes. So, for clarity's sake, let's try this again, shall we? Okay, pendulum is now ready to talk. I've got a grip on that. Better. Okay, pendulum. Is Jack Smith feeling defeated by canon? That is a no. He is not. Is Jack Smith ready to pounce on loose cannon yet? That is also a no. Is there actually a plan or a strategy in place by Jack Smith and his team to attempt to get Cannon removed from the case? Is there anything going on that would indicate that that is something they're actually looking at doing? Because all the talking heads say they should be doing it. I don't know that we've gotten any indication at all that they're going to do it. So let's ask that, shall we? So is there anything going on by Jack team and people to try to get Cannon removed from the case? Okay, that is a strong yes. My goodness, say we have to be patient, and most of us don't actually like to hear that. Will the FBI ever find out and prosecute who planted the bombs at the RNC and DNC headquarters the night before January 6th? All right, so that is a strong yes. The second question is, do they currently have any leads on who that person is? And that is a yes. And we're not going to get into asking about 52 names in alphabetical order. Will SCOTUS release their immunity ruling before June 27th, which is next Thursday? Now, if I'm not mistaken, they released their rulings on Thursday and Friday. So if you don't mind, whoever submitted this, and thank you very much, it's a good question, I'm just going to switch it to the 28th, okay? Because that takes it sort of to the last day where they're supposed to do this. So will SCOTUS release their immunity ruling before? Oh, I see what you said. Sorry, I apologize. I should read things. We're going to ask you a question, then we're going to ask mine. Will SCOTUS release their immunity ruling before the 27th presidential debate? No. Does that indicate that that ruling with regards to Trump's immunity, is that going to be released on Friday, June the 28th of this year? Yes. Is Donald Trump going to be granted full immunity? Yes. Sorry, no, no, no. It was a no. That's what happens when your brain jumps on to the next question. Is there going to be some sort of limited immunity carved out? And that is a yes. Is Judge Cannon consulting with GOP operatives about the documents case? We're not getting an answer on that. Let's see if I can ask it another way. Is Judge Canning receiving any assistance or guidance in terms of how she is handling the documents case? Is she getting any sort of outside help or guidance? That's a yes. Is that help coming from members of um, the Heritage group? And that is a yes. The next question was, if yes, will this become public knowledge? I got to say, even if it does, I don't think that's enough to get her tossed, right? I don't. But we'll see. If yes, will this become public knowledge? Okay, so right now, that is a no. I mean, even case was it? It could have been the Eugene Carroll case, I think. But if I remember correctly, it was Judge Chutkin that actually was sitting in the courtroom and watching how Trump was being handled and what the reactions are. So, just saying that she's getting some help from somewhere, I don't think it's going to be enough, unfortunately. Will the Department of Justice indict Roger Stone? Is there an indictment in Roger Stone's future? Yes. All right. To my understanding, the debate is 6 days away. It is scheduled for the 27th of June. Let's ask the obvious question first. Is Trump going to back out of that debate? Yes. I think there's two other debates that have been tentatively scheduled for later on. Let's ask it this way. at any point in the run-up to the election, is Donald Trump going to actually debate Joe Biden? And right now, that's a no. Now, somebody asked in here, if Biden doesn't show up, if Trump doesn't show up, will the network sort of just go live with kind of like a conversation with Biden? Will they fill in that air that way? I have to say, first of all, they're going to know at least 12 hours or whatever before the debate. I mean, they're going to get like a small heads up that he's not showing up, because it's going to have to make a big deal about it and come up with some amazing reason why he can't do it. But if I'm not mistaken, when it comes to elections like that, and I don't know if this is sort of a rule or it is just what they do, but generally speaking, if you give this side 15 minutes, you have to give that side 15 minutes. So I could be wrong, but if that's the case, do they really want to give Joe like an hour and a half, a 90-minute window, and then have to give Trump that same window? This is CNN, if I'm not mistaken. They're going to spend the entire hour and a half correcting him. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. So there were a whole bunch of questions about whether he's, Biden's going to feel good about it or Trump's going to feel good about it. Joyce, please make a note to repeat these questions for next Friday's Pendulum, because I will be recording that on Thursday afternoon before the debate, if there is a debate. So I personally would be really curious to see what the Pendulum's saying so close to the event. Because I think right now, Trump is yes, no, maybe, I don't know. Will Trump be happy with the SCOTUS immunity ruling? I just want to get a better grip on this thing. Will Trump be happy with the SCOTUS immunity ruling? No. As a result of that ruling, is it possible? Is there better than a 50% chance that the insurrection case in Judge Chutkan's court, is there any chance better than 50% of that case going to trial before the election? Yes. Will the Dems be happy with the SCOTUS community ruling? I'm just going to change the word because I think it's a better word. Will the Democrats be relieved with the SCOTUS immunity ruling? And that is a yes. So Trump ain't going to be happy, but the Dems are going to go, thank God, that was a close call. For those of you who don't know, I live in Alberta. And right now, the Edmonton Oilers, our hockey team, is on track to win the Stanley Cup. They had some really bumpy first games. But the question is, will the Edmonton Oilers win the Stanley Cup? No answer. Which kind of makes sense, right? Because there's that whole free will, the whole energy thing, I guess what people, what the players bring. But I have to tell you that the Oilers and the community, are really, really hyped up for this win. There was a time not that long ago. Okay, so maybe it was like 20 years ago or 25 years ago, or it could have even been 30. I'm not sure. But Edmonton was literally known as the city of champions because all of our sports teams were like nabbing the top prize. So it was hockey was getting the Stanley Cup. There was the football, whatever that one's called. There was baseball. There was soccer. And it was like every these teams were just like roaring and doing really, really well. And then slowly but surely things went downhill. And in fact, if I'm not mistaken, all of the signs that were around Edmonton that said City of Champions have been removed. So I don't know, I think Edmonton and the surrounding area really, really wants to get back into that rhythm, but I can't remember the other team, but I'm absolutely sure that they do too. So I don't know. Occupy Democrats' YouTube channel is just reporting 50 lawmakers have signed a motion to have Marjorie Taylor Greene expelled from Congress. Now, Joyce says, and she's amazing at looking this stuff up for me. She says she can't find anything about it on the internet, and there have been many attempts to expel her. So what we're looking at is, will the idea of expelling Marjorie Taylor Greene gain momentum? Yes. Will it succeed? No answer. Free will again. I think that, thank you, the sort of attempt, the talking about, the noise about having her tossed for bad behavior, I think it is something that they are almost using as leverage, right? It's sort of like, stop it, or the same thing that happened to Cawthorn is going to happen to you, and you won't like it. Right now, that's what it feels like. It feels, not blackmail, but it sort of feels like a warning shot across the bow, right? Like, settle down, stop calling everybody a liar, stop being like saying stuff that is so blatantly not true, and because you are giving the Democrats ample time to correct you, and that's not helping. That's not looking good. So I guess we shall see. Now that the Russian ruble is no longer tied to the US dollar as the exchange rate, but China's yuan, will there be an uproar by the citizens of Russia? Yeah, they're not going to like it very much. Will it hasten Putin's downfall? Interesting. That's a yes. Okay. Project 25. Will we have to constantly deal with this evil fascist plan every 4 years since it is for the next Republican president, whenever that will be? Okay, a couple things right here. If you don't know already, there is an amazing channel out there called Resistance Live. With a lawyer who every morning she comes on, I think it's 9:30 California time. And she does sort of half an hour, 45 minutes like that, and just sort of gives you a layman's understanding of what's going on legally. If you haven't checked it out, please do so. She is very, very good. She was saying that Joyce, and anybody who watches MSNBC knows Joyce. She's a lawyer, and I think she's a law professor. Apparently, she has made a commitment to go through all 920 pages of their 2025 plan and explain it and talk about it. It's you're going to need to look up where it is or how you find it, but I'm sure it's easy enough to find. As a way to sort of let people know. So I think part of what you're going to see is that more and more people are going to become aware of what Project 25 is and looks like. But are they going to stop? No. I mean, did they stop with the abortion thing? Okay, it took them 50 years, but did it stop? I'm being told that they're not going to be able to gain momentum, sort of even in the future. The way they want to enable them to really implement a lot of this stuff. I don't know how. I mean, whether there are laws or rules or things that get passed that would prevent some of the crazy that they want to do. I'm not sure, but kind of what they're saying is don't freak out because there are things that are happening or are going to happen to create blocks. Oh, okay, yeah, there was that question. If Trump doesn't show, will Biden use this opportunity to address the American people? I don't think so. We'll ask again. Yeah, no. I mean, I don't know. Might they give him half an hour? But I suspect that what will happen is CNN will just revert to regular programming. And I could be absolutely wrong, and the pendulum could be wrong. And, frankly, truly, I would love for Biden to show up for that debate. I would, because as soon as he opens his mouth, people who are watching the debate who haven't been paying attention, and there's a lot of them, are going to go, oh my God, what is the matter with this man? He cannot be a president again. Oh my God. And he was at, sorry, I saw it just before I sat down to record this. I think it was in Louisiana, and he was making a speech and he said the words, I paraphrase, under my administration, no one will destroy or back away from Christ's cross. So he's putting it out there, you do whatever you want, you make everything religious as you want. I don't care because I don't actually believe in anything. But you just go right ahead as long as you vote for me. Okay, so will the rich donors of Trump's cult ever be exposed? I don't know that they're in hiding, right? I mean, are the Koch brothers in hiding? I don't think they're in hiding. I think we just don't, unless somebody kind of puts together a package for us and puts it out into the public, we just individually kind of might have an idea this one is or that one is, but I don't think that, we understand the power, if you will, or the money that is behind this group. So I don't know. Let me ask it that way. Will there be any investigative reporting that will pull together the rich donors that are continuing to support Trump? Okay, that looks like a yes. So let's take it. Regarding the November 5th U.S. election, will Florida's electoral votes go to the Democrats? Florida. Is it going to go blue? Okay, it's like a smaller yes. Again, we'll take it. You know, some of the questions we're asking them, the events are too far in advance. But I'm totally good with asking them because I mean we all want to know. Same question. Will Arizona go blue? That's a yes. Michigan. Will Michigan go blue? A small yes. Will Pennsylvania go blue? Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, indeed. Okay. How long after the Supreme Court immunity decision before Jack and Chuck can get their trial going? So I've already said intuitively, it feels like they will be able to get it going. She had that sort of 88-day thing where once that decision was handed down, both sides had 88 days to kind of get ready to go to court. So that sort of takes us to like the end of August, I guess, or the very beginning of September. So we know that the pendulum has said that it is possible that this thing will go forward. So we have to leave it at that because it's really hard to us timing things with a pendulum. Will Joe Biden go down in history as one of the best presidents ever? The question is the best president ever? I think there are, let's just do one of the best. Yeah. Okay. Will Matt Gaetz finally be convicted of newfound ethics violation? I did that in yesterday's video. I talked about that, right? He is still under investigation by the ethics committee, and they're like a dog with a bone. They're not letting go of this thing. And it is said, and I don't disagree, that part of the reason that he wanted to get rid of oh crap, what's his name? The guy who was head of the house before the guy that they got now. Um, Sorry, I can see his face. I just can't. They're not bringing me his name. But the reason he was so hot to try to get rid of this guy was because he wouldn't agree to stop the investigation into Gates. And Gates was like, okay, then, you know what? You got to go. That's what they say. I love this question. When Saudi Arabia gave Kushner that $2 billion, again, this was something that we looked at on Thursday's video. So if you haven't seen it, you might, want to check it out. When that happened, Steve Mnuchin, 45's Treasury Secretary, walked away with $1 billion from the same source. Is he being investigated as well? I'm trying to think of a way to answer that because I think that if the ethics committee was doing it, we would probably know about it or have heard about it. But so let's broaden it out. Is Mnuchin being investigated by any agency with regards to the $1 billion with a B dollar dollars that he received from Saudi Arabia? Is there any investigation going on around that? Okay, not now or not right now. Will there be any investigation into Kushner's bailout by Qatar since he was on the ropes financially with his 666 Fifth Avenue property in 2015 to 2016? So they're already investigating him for the $2 billion he got. Is there also is that going to include the bailout that he received on that building, 666 Fifth Avenue? Is that going to be sort of included? Mm-hmm. Yes. Will Justice Barrett, so Amy Coney Barrett, will be the wild card that will prevent Trump from pulling a Bush v. Gore tactic that happened in the year 2000. So I guess that is I wasn't really paying a lot of attention, but I do know it went to court, it went to the Supreme Court, and they basically said this person won or this person won. So the Supreme Court actually decided the election. Is something like that going to happen again if Trump loses the 2024 election? What are you doing? Okay, it's a no. It's a wonky no, though. Again, I think the question is sort of misleading because we're not actually sure that Trump's going to be around to have a fit when he loses or when the results come in. Will Mrs. Lauren Miller's testimony to the Senate about her having to leave the state of Texas to get an abortion to save the life of her and her unborn twin's life have a damaging effect on the Ted Cruz campaign? It was a horrid story. And I may have heard it wrong, but what they were saying is one of the twins was basically something was going to happen in vitro where the one twin was not kind of good, but it had the ability to kill the other twin. And so what they were trying to save was her life and the one twin. I think I have that right. I could be wrong. But either way, they needed to leave because they needed to save her life and the baby or babies. Is that going to have a damaging effect on Ted Cruz campaign? Yeah. I'm hearing that there's going to be some sort of a real push in some of the red states targeting Republicans who are trying or have already taken away women's reproductive rights, their health rights. It feels like, I'm not sure, but they're showing me like yard signs and they're showing me billboards. But whatever it is, they're really well done. I almost want to say graphic. And it's going to have an impact, again, on a lot of people who, again, kind of are busy living their life, and they probably know that, that Roe was reversed, but they probably aren't paying attention to what that means in red states and the position it's putting women in those states. So there's going to be something. There's going to be something that gets a lot of attention, and it's coming kind of very close to the election. Okay, it's not going to be in the summer. It's not going to be in the early fall. I want to say, like almost like the beginning of October, because they're going to want to get it going prior to, or in the areas certainly where there's mail-in voting. It feels staggered to me. But they're going after all of them, not just Ted Cruz. The magazine, the House of Representatives, has proposed that the J6 committee was illegitimate and all their findings should be thrown out. Will this gain traction? No. This is the thing. Everything that the Republicans in the House do, it doesn't succeed because it's so outrageous. Um, so, yeah. Will Liz Cheney return to politics? Yes. If yes, as a Republican. No movement. I'm going to ask it this way. When Liz Cheney returns to politics, will she, will her platform be be based on traditional Republican values prior to the invasion of Trump, the values that they held prior? Yes. So, one of the things that she's going to be looking to do will be to, um, a lot of people who are independents now because they can't stomach the thought of voting for Trump. She's going, that's part of her target, right? The MAGAs, it looks like it almost looks like, um, the MAGAs are not going to be so strong, and she may be able to, um, pull together a party that really is attractive to traditional Republicans, which frankly, I'm not sure that's a great idea either, but none of my business. Will Adam Kissinger return to politics? He's undecided right now. I'm hearing there's no movement. If he does, is he likely to um, join a platform or join the platform of Liz Cheney? Yes. I'm purposely not using the word as a Republican because I think that the mega cult uh, is still going to be using the term Republican, and it will be sullied, right? And no one's going to want to go back to that. They're going to want to create a new party with those traditional Republican values. That's what I'm getting. Is travel to the Scandinavian country safe over the summer? That's a yes. And by the way, have a good trip because I did read your comment and you're going there for a visit. So enjoy your trip. Is the leader of that big country who likes to invade other countries? Is that country's power like waning? It is. I have a question. Apparently, the United States has sort of, I guess, officially um, dropped the resistance that they had to Ukraine being able to fire or go into Russia. Okay, because up till now, the Ukrainians have been in a completely defensive posture, even when they've been in an offensive posture because they were on Ukrainian land. Now they can finally start causing issues and destruction in Russia. Is that going to um, wreak some significant havoc in Russia? Okay, yes. Are the Russian people going to start to realize that Russia is the aggressor in this situation? Yes. Because, let's not forget, right? You can't even use the word war in Russia. So they have a very kind of skewed idea, or some of them do, of what is actually going on there. And so part of it is going to need to be, sort of educating people Will there be any accountability for Dr. Ronnie Jackson turning the White House into a drug den? Right now, that's a no. At the very least, they should check out all the scripts he signed for the Congress people who got Schedule 1 drugs for free. I agree. Um, I don't know if you've seen, but Trump kept calling him, Ronnie Jack Johnson, a whole bunch of times. Can't even remember the guy who told him he was in amazing health, and Trump could live for 100 because he was in such incredible health. So there you go. What I'm getting is sort of like it's like neutralizing Jackson. And I don't know, it's not like a dire, they're going to remove him from the planet. But it feels like there's something that's going to go on that sort of neutralizes his votes. I don't know that they just said he'll be neutralized. Will there be an East Coast hurricane this summer? That is a yes. I'm sorry. Now, at this point, it's not a huge yes, but for right now, it is a yes. Okay, that's kind of a crappy note to end on. Sorry, I gotta think of another question really, really fast. It's going to perk us all up. And why not go with this one, the standard? Is Joe Biden going to successfully win the November 2024 election and be inaugurated January of 2025 as the sitting president of the United States? I think I've covered all bases there. There we go. And a really nice, strong yes. So I'm liking that a lot. I will tell you that this is taking a lot out of him. I mean, his energy is just being depleted at every turn. I'm being told that we don't need to panic about that because there's going to be some recovery for him. As he moves through the summer, he will be able to sort of shake off or recover from some of the incredible amount of stress that he has been dealing with, certainly for the last many months. Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. Oh my God, 43 minutes. I am so sorry. I don't want these videos to be that long. Have a good weekend. Do something good for you and someone else. Until next time, be well.